What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and that's a good mid-season finale. Whew. I mean, holy crap. That was awesome. So many good things happened. So many intense things happened. Probably one of the best endings for a finale ever. Holy crap. I don't even know where to start. Well, actually, I kind of do. First thing to talk about, because it's kind of the only thing that's not tied in directly to, I guess, the main story, is Carol and Morgan and what's going on with this guy from the kingdom who apparently wants to fight back against the saviors. And of course, King Ezekiel is very passive, doesn't want to fight, kind of like Morgan, which is why he fits in so well there. And he knows Carol and Morgan both probably came from a place that knows how to fight. And so he comes in asking them, first of all, he saw Morgan kill somebody last season to save Carol. And so he's pretty much begging Morgan, look, we have to fight them. We kill them, we save ourselves. That's how this works. I'm curious to see how much more we're going to learn about him as the season progresses, because it seems like he has a very personal connection to the saviors. Like, deeper than just, oh, they killed somebody, I know. It seems like he knows a lot more about the saviors than he's letting on. So maybe he used to be a savior and he's one of the few that actually got away. Because it seems like nobody escapes the saviors once they get in. So maybe he was a part of the saviors and then escaped. And he's the only one to ever escape. Or, I don't know, maybe he used to lead the saviors and then Negan took over. So many interesting theories I can throw out there, but the main thing that I think is going to come out of this is he's going to be important to the story somehow. He's going to have a connection with the saviors that I think is making this more personal and makes him want to go take them out before they decide to take them out first. And so it's also kind of setting up the whole, all of Alexandria Hilltop and the Kingdom are going to team up to work against the saviors, because clearly we saw with Michonne's story, which I'll talk about next, she's taking this redhead savior and just having her drive her pretty much wherever she wants to go to take me to Negan. So she drives her to this random place, and I'm like, I thought we were going to see Sanctuary. I thought this was how like Daryl and Jesus were going to meet up with Michonne, and that I thought that's how that was going to work. But all of a sudden, they're just overlooking this big pasture almost, and there's just hundreds of people. And she's just like, that's Negan. We are all Negan. And so it's kind of like, okay, we thought, seeing Sanctuary, you could see there's probably like a little over 100 people there, clearly living well, eating well. And then all of a sudden, this girl takes Michonne to this place, and she's just like, they're all Negan. I'm like, okay, so clearly this is bigger than we thought. So obviously it is going to be an epic team up of the three places, and I know I've heard it talked about, it's part of the comics as well, so once again, hopefully they do change some stuff up from the comics so I'm not shocked by what happens, like they tend to make some changes here and there, but overall they're still kind of following the comics. They're still doing a lot of stuff similar. So all these people who have read the comics are like, oh, well, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and we're all just like, shut the hell up. I just want to watch the show and be shocked on my own, please. Thank you. So anyway, so that was Michonne's story. She comes back after seeing that, and she kind of tells Rick that she understands that they can't do this on their own. They can't fight back on their own. They're going to have to fight back together, which has kind of been the point for this entire first half of the season. It's been showing them separated, not nearly as strong as them working together. So I think Michonne sort of realizes now they can't fight back right at this instant. But if they start working together, if they start living, just finding a way to live for now, eventually that time will come, that chance will come. So I really like what they did with her and getting to see that. And even like the girl that took her there, it's almost like she had kind of accepted the fact that Michonne was going to kill her. So she took a chance to say, look, you can't handle this on your own, so just kill me, get rid of the truck, just go back home. Enjoy it while you can. I'm like, wow, kind of tells you how scary Negan is. Speaking of Negan, so he's freaking awesome. I'm sorry. I know he's a villain. I know he's supposed to be despised. I know people hate him most of the time. But damn if he is not just hysterical. I mean, come on. So many good moments. And just... I'm wearing a Negan shirt because I am proud to say I'm a fan of Negan. I understand he's supposed to be a bad guy, but I love him as a bad guy. He's a brilliant villain for this season. I hope... part of me hopes it goes longer than this season. I hope they don't kill him off at the end. The other part of me thinks, though, I don't see how you could keep him around for so long. You know, because this first half of the season, it felt right. It felt like he was beating them down. It felt like he was taking away their confidence. We got to see just how much control he had over them. Well, if the second half of the season they start to fight back, it's hard to imagine that they end the second half of the season with our team not succeeding. You know, they probably will lose some people, but I imagine they're going to succeed on some form. Which means, is it going to be a similar situation to the governor where they took out all of Woodbury, but the governor was still alive, and the governor came back later and made them pay for that? Maybe. Who knows? I hope it's an epic end for him, if it is going to be the end for him at the end of the season. I hope he goes out with a bang, because that's all I can imagine for his character. But before I talk more about some of the stuff that happened in Alexandria, I do want to talk about the Daryl stuff, because kind of an interesting little just situation there where, first of all, he gets the key that says go now. Was that from Jesus? Probably. I think that's what they're implying. I'm really sad, though, because I wanted to see Jesus do all the cool ninja stuff, but instead we just see him, like, he's there, and then he's not there. How did he do that? I want to see him being a freaking ninja. Instead, we just see the key slipped under. Daryl goes through, gets some clothes to wear so people don't see somebody wearing the sack thing with the A on it and go, oh, he's escaping. So now he's disguised himself, he gets outside, and then there's Fat Joey. Just, poor Fat Joey. I kind of feel bad for the guy, because you can see he clearly is just there because Negan scares the hell out of him, and he doesn't really want to be there. So Daryl comes outside and he's just like, look, you can go. You can walk out that front gate. I won't tell anybody. You know, I get it. You do what you do to survive. Or you do what you do to make it. And then Daryl just takes the pipe he had, bashes him over the head over and over again. And says, no, you do what you do to get it all. And takes Rick's gun out of his pants. I'm just like, okay, Daryl's back. I mean, it was so brutal from him. And you could see he needed something to kind of release all of the aggression that was pent up from him being there. You know, just imagine that for a minute. You were there. I honestly wonder how long he was there. Because, I don't know, time was kind of indiscriminate. I'm not really sure exactly how much time passed between him first getting there and then him escaping in this episode. It may have been a few weeks. I'm not sure, but clearly all of the aggression that was built up from being trapped there, from being forced to eat dog food sandwiches, all of that released on Fat Joey. The poor, unsuspecting soul. So then Jesus shows up, sees that brutal act. I kind of wonder if that's going to come back later, like Jesus saw that and he's going to be like, you know, I don't know about that. You know, I understand that this is a dire situation, but that's becoming too much like them. I mean, very similar to Negan beating people over the head with a bat, except it was a pipe. So I am curious to see if they're going to bring that back later, or if Jesus is just going to be like, look, I understand. You were in a situation that sucks, and you were releasing the anger you had. So we'll see if that's going anywhere. Maybe, maybe not. So then, back to Alexandria. A few little stories going on. We have Aaron and Rick are out getting the supplies off of the boat. Ends pretty early, you know, you see, we have a little bit of a scare, like Aaron might be gone for a second, like walkers drag him under the water. Somehow he manages to escape without getting bit. Maybe. we still didn't really see, he said he's okay, but I'm wondering if maybe there's a bite he's covering up. Just a question. Probably not. but just a question. But they end up getting all the supplies off the boat, and we see kind of a nice little moment between Aaron and Rick where Aaron's like, look, I was there. I understand. You know, the people, they don't get it because they lived in freedom for so long. So now to be living under the thumb of this guy, they don't like it. So I like the fact that Aaron, he's kind of becoming Rick's not really right-hand man, because I think Dwight's always going to have that title. Not Dwight, Daryl. I'm so sorry. People are going to hate me for that now. But Daryl's always going to be his right-hand man. But I think Aaron is showing, he's proving himself to this group. He's proving to be more than just, oh, he's just this guy that lives in Alexandria that helped us find Alexandria. No, he's proving he loves being out there too. He loves helping out in any way he can. I mean, that line from him at the beginning, just so awesome. Rick's just like, if you want to stay back, I understand. He's just like, I'm going to pretend like you didn't just say that. And he goes and kicks a board down and gets it for a paddle. I'm like, you go, Aaron. Yes. Thank you. Because dude's awesome. And the funny thing is that most of the time, shows, the way they handle homosexuals, guy or girl, it's always so focused on that aspect. They don't focus on it here as much. You know, it's there. Negan nearly kills, Negan's right-hand woman nearly kills his boyfriend at the end. So you see that it's there, but they're not treating him like that. They're not treating him like, oh, that's his identity, guys. You see that? He's a homosexual. Throw it in your face. It's just, he's a badass. That scene with him is awesome. That scene where he's being pulled under by the walkers and he gets away, I'm just like, go, Aaron. Like, this is how you handle homosexual characters, TV. Pay attention. Because, frankly, I'm getting tired of seeing all the shows want to throw that in our face and make that a big deal when it really shouldn't be. It's just, like I said before in other show reviews, it's just a sexual preference. It doesn't change the person at all, because I look at Aaron and I don't see him any different than I see Rick or the rest of the group, because he's just awesome. I just wanted to throw that out there for anybody who's getting sick of the liberal agenda in TV shows as much as I am. I'm so glad that at least one show is going, we have a homosexual character on our show and we're going to treat him with respect. Thank you very much. Not that, I'm homosexual, but I'm glad that they're being represented at least better on this show than they have been on other shows. So anyway, we have that all is going on. They get back. Unfortunately, they also happen to pack a little note inside that the owner of the ship had, and it's just the middle finger saying, you won, but you still lost, or something along those lines. So the Saviors are pulling out the stuff, and they're like, oh, you left this message for us? And Aaron slips up on the tongue and says, obviously it's not, obviously, and then he gets the crap beaten out of him. But still has the strength at the end of all of that to smile. He said some sort of little joke. I'm going to have to watch it again to hear exactly what he said. But the fact that he's able to smile after all of that, and just the fact that he's okay after all of that, I'm just like, see, Aaron is awesome. I can't wait. I'm really hoping he's going to become a bigger part of the show, because it seems like they're giving him more to do. He's not just on the side anymore. He's not just, he's a part of the group. No, he is doing stuff now. He is actually getting out there and taking blows and just taking it, moving on. So that's awesome. So all of that is going on. Meanwhile, we have Rosita's story. She goes to see Father Gabriel. Once again, Father Gabriel is just getting so much better as the season goes on. I mean, all the stuff with him and Negan has been funny. The scene last episode with him and Spencer was hysterical. But this one, it's a nice touching moment. Rosita goes into the chapel, tells him, I want to kill Negan, and understands that she's probably going to die while doing so. And he's just like, no, I understand, I feel it too, but we need you. Because she feels like she has no purpose. She's pointing out, Rick and Michonne and Carl and Judith, they have each other. Maggie had Glenn. Now she has a reason to fight. Aaron has, I can't remember what his boyfriend's name is. Eric, I think. Um, so you just see she's pointing out all these things. Eugene makes the bullets. She's pointing out all these things, and you know where she's going with it. Like, she had Abraham, but then he went to Sasha, so she didn't even have him anymore. And Father Gabriel says, it shouldn't have been you. I want you to know that. It shouldn't have been you. It's a good moment. It's a good, touching moment. It's a good line again from Father Gabriel. I mean, I don't think anything's going to top his line from last episode. You know, it doesn't make you a sinner, but it does make you a horrible little shit. That was brilliant. Anyway, but yeah, it's a nice moment. Rosita kind of takes that and sort of accepts it. You know, she accepts the fact that maybe she doesn't need to sacrifice herself just to kill one man. You know, maybe they do need to find an opportunity. Even later on, Spencer's talking to her about the fact that he's trying to befriend Negan, and this is where the storyline is going after that. But even he's saying, you know, eventually we'll get a chance to do something about it. And she's kind of like, yeah, okay. And then, of course, he says, you know, what about having dinner tonight? You know, nothing, no strings attached, just dinner. I'm like, okay, yeah, now he's definitely dead. If anybody did not see Spencer's death coming, I don't know how. It became more and more clear as the season went on with him just talking back to Rick, and then Rick tells him to shut up. He's just like, oh, okay. And then doesn't say anything. He's just acting cowardly around Rick, but then behind his back, he's talking up a storm like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this. You could see it coming a mile away. So he says he's going to go talk to Negan. He's going to befriend him. He's going to become buddy-buddy with him, and so he can take over for Rick. And when he's telling Negan all of this stuff, I love the fact that Negan is just kind of acting like he agrees. And you know he's just acting. You know he's not actually being, this kid actually has a point. Because he can see right through Spencer's whole charade. The fact that he doesn't have the balls to stand up to Rick. The fact that he doesn't have the guts to do what needs to be done to be a leader, like Rick does. And so you know that Negan sees all of this, and he's letting Spencer give his little spiel. He's letting Spencer just have this moment of, oh, I'm so confident right now. I'm talking up a great storm, and Negan's accepting all of it, and then all of a sudden, Negan just turns it on him and says, so why don't you kill Rick? That's when Spencer starts to realize, no, nothing like that. And then you have another brilliantly funny line from Negan. You don't have the guts. Stabs him in the gut, cuts him open, and then guts spill out. He's like, oh, look at that. I was wrong. It looks like you had the guts all along. They were right inside of you. It's a funny line. It was gruesome, but it was pretty funny. And probably not the most gruesome death we've had. I mean, come on. We've seen worse. But yeah, I mean, Spencer killed right there. Pretty much saw it coming. But because of that death, you see the look on Rosita's face. She is not happy. And all I can think is, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. She pulls out a gun. You hear a gunshot. Goes to commercial break. I'm thinking, okay, one of two things happen. One, she shot Lucille. Two, one of the saviors shot her before she could shoot Lucille. They come back and Negan's holding Lucille and has a bullet in it. And I'm just like, okay, somebody's dead. And honestly, at first, it seemed like maybe nobody would die. Because he was saying, you know, he saw the bullet. And he's just like, somebody made this. And so he started to realize, I can use this. And so he asked Rosita who made the bullet. She's just like, I did. And his right-hand woman has got a knife to her face. He's like, cut up her face. She's like, cuts her face pretty much. And like she does it to herself. She leans up into the knife and draws blood. And so Negan realizes, okay, so clearly she's not afraid of death. And so he tells the woman to shoot somebody random. And so she pulls out a gun, whips it towards the porch where Carl and Olivia are standing. And if you've been reading some of the stuff that people love to post on Facebook because they're jerks, there's been a lot of talk. Chandler Riggs wants to go to college, so he may not be a part of the show anymore. Talk. So there was a lot of talk that Carl was going to be gone from the show. So whenever she points it to the porch, I'm like, no! And then shoots, and Olivia just, and I'm like, oh, okay. But Olivia's dead. That's kind of sad. She wasn't like a great character or anything, but just kind of like Fat Joey, you do feel a bit sorry for her. Like she feels like she doesn't belong in this world, and yet she still has the guts to stand up to Negan and slap him in the face. I'm like, okay, so clearly she doesn't belong in this world, but she's trying as hard as she can to make it seem like she belongs in this world. So it was inevitable for her. I'm sure at some point she would have died anyway, even if it hadn't been like this. But she's now gone, and so Rick comes up, and now he's upset because we had a deal, and then Negan starts telling him, "Look, you should be thanking me, Rick," and tells him about Carl and how he came in, shot up his guys, but I brought him back to you, and then told him Spencer was about to overthrow him. He's like, I took care of him for you. So you can see Rick, first of all, not happy with Carl. You could, as soon as he said that about Carl, you could see the disapproving father look right at him. So I love the look on Rick's face because you see everything that's going through his mind. You see Carl, seriously, you're an idiot and I'm disappointed in you. We're going to have a talk later. And then whenever he says Spencer was trying to take over, he looks at Spencer like, really? Like it comes as kind of a shock to him because I think he thought Spencer was just saying stuff. I don't think he thought Spencer was actually going to try to do something about it. So I love whenever an actor can express their emotion without words. You can just tell what they're thinking by looking at their face. So all of that happens. We see Tara at first says, "I'm the one who made the bullets." But then Eugene finally steps up and admits the fact that he did it because he knows Negan's just going to find out eventually that he's the one that made the bullets, even if he has to keep killing everybody. So now, at this point, I'm thinking either he's going to take Eugene to make bullets for him, or he's going to kill Eugene so Eugene can't make any bullets for Alexandria. He ends up taking Eugene, thank goodness, because I like Eugene. I think he's funny. Like I said, I think in the last episode, I really like the way he talks and the way he expresses emotion. Hardly. But just the way he phrases things is just really funny to me. So now Eugene is with Negan and I guess is going to be working for him. But ultimately, all of that, even though it was intense, it was exciting. There were some really good moments, there were some really scary moments. All that was really good, but the thing that makes this episode incredible is the end, because we see Maggie, she was in Hilltop, we saw a scene with her and Gregory, which, I don't know, if that goes somewhere later, I'll talk about it a bit more. It seemed like maybe he was trying to flirt with her a little bit, something like that. I don't know. But Maggie is doing a daily routine of like getting up and I guess checking over the wall to see what's coming. Well, she gets up, looks over the wall, and she starts smiling. I'm like, oh, Daryl and Jesus are back. They open up the gate, and there's Rick and the team. I'm like, where's Daryl and Jesus? Daryl and Jesus come walking around the corner. I'm just like, it's time. Bro hug commence. Rick walks up to Daryl, and you just see that moment where Daryl's just like, nods, and then Rick comes in for the bromance hug. I'm like, I want a bromance like Daryl and Rick, man. That touches a guy's heart, because you know what they're feeling. If you're a guy, you know exactly what they're feeling. You have that friend that you're just like, I would do anything for you, man. I would take a bullet for you, man. That is Daryl and Rick. They're gonna take on Negan. They're gonna take him down because the power of bros. It's awesome. I was crying manly tears. Anyway, but yeah, this entire scene, it wasn't even just the Daryl and Rick thing. All of it. Them getting to see Maggie and Sasha again. Everybody getting to see each other again. There was that moment where you see Carl and Enid looking at each other like they're back together. You see a moment where Rosita looks at Sasha and you see that moment. They just look at each other. They know they're in this together. Even though the whole Abraham thing between them was sketchy, you see that they're in this together. And this is where it all comes together. And the season comes together for this is what it's all been building up to. And I had a conversation similar to this with a friend recently, because If you guys haven't played Kingdom Hearts, you have no idea what I'm about to talk about. But pretty much, it's kind of a sad series. There's some, obviously not at first. At first it's just like, oh, Disney and Final Fantasy clash. Okay, that seems fun. But as you get into the story, it's very tragic. There's some characters that have really tragic stories going on. And my friend that I was talking to about this was like, sometimes it just gets really sad, and I don't know if I can take all this sadness. I'm just like, if it weren't for these sad moments, whenever it all comes full circle and the day is saved and the day is won, it wouldn't feel nearly as happy. And honestly, you look at this entire season, a lot of it has been really grim. A lot of it has been really just depressing, and you look at them and you're just like, this is tragic. There's no way back. Rick is broken down. He can't fight back. If they try to fight back, more people are going to die. It feels like there was no way back. But then this moment, they all get together and they realize this is how they're going to win. It's through the power of working together and taking on an enemy bigger than themselves. That's how they're going to do it. And you just feel like that's what this season's been building up to. And if it were not for the fact that the first half of the season was so rough and just gritty and grim and depressing, if it weren't for that fact, this moment would not feel so good. That they're all back together, they're all ready to fight again. It feels so right. And it just makes this episode so good. And it makes me look forward to the rest of the season, because now it looks like the fight has begun. And all I could think, like I said, all I could think about in this moment is the fight is on. This is it. This is the moment that we were waiting for. This is the turnaround. It's on like Donkey Kong. I don't care that it's an overused phrase. It's true. So yeah, all of that was really good. The entire episode, probably exactly just perfect. You know, we lost some characters. There were some great moments for some of our characters. We had some victories. We had some losses. But overall, just really, really good, solid episode. So that was pretty much it. A little bit of a teaser of what's to come, because whenever Rick and Aaron went to the boat, after they were leaving in the truck, we see this guy walk out of the woods. And he's wearing some kind of like, I don't even know, it looked like wire maybe around his boots that he was wearing. Kind of weird looking. But we see the same guy, he has binoculars and he's looking at Father Gabriel on his outpost, looking over the wall of Alexandria, and then he walks away. So I guess the first part of the second half of the season is going to be more about whoever this person is. Maybe they're from the kingdom and they're like a spy that the kingdom sends out to look at stuff, and maybe this will be the point where the kingdom and Alexandria meet, and just a possibility. I don't know what this guy's story is, if he's going to be a good guy or bad guy. I'm assuming good guy though, because it seems like they're so obviously trying to make him a bad guy that I get the feeling that he is going to be a good guy. Kind of like what they did with Jesus. At first he seemed like he was just this really weird guy. He stole from them, but then whenever they actually got to know him, he was actually a good guy. I think this is kind of the same way. They're making him look spooky and mysterious and evil, and they're going to meet him and he's actually going to be working for the kingdom or something like that. So, yeah, great setup for the second half of the season, though. I can't wait for the turnaround to happen. I can't wait for them to take the fight back to Negan. And you got to wonder, is it going to start right away, or is this going to be kind of like with what the kingdom does? They're giving them food, but they're tainting it. They're letting the pigs eat the walkers, and then they're giving them those pigs. I wonder if they're going to start doing stuff like that, or if it's just going to be an all-out, okay, guys, let's go fight. And so they all take weapons and go to fight Negan. I doubt it's going to be that, just because it's really hard to stretch out over 8 episodes. But we'll see. Honestly, this first half of the season has really won my trust back with this show, because I was a little bit iffy after they did the whole cliffhanger thing. I was disappointed that they decided to do that. I think they could have done it a lot better, but this first half of the season, definitely much better. There's still a couple episodes that I think people are going to be frustrated by because they're slower, they're not as intense as they want it to be. But honestly, if you had intense episode every single episode, it would get kind of old. You'd get really worn out by the show. So I think they have to have those lighter episodes, the one that explain more than have the oh my gosh moments. And that just makes the oh my gosh moment that much better, because you had to wait for it a little bit. You had to just relax, take a breath during the Terra episode, during the Carol and Morgan find the Kingdom episode. Those episodes are slower because the next episode is going to be that intense that you're going to be on the edge of your seat. Like, holy crap, I can't believe this is happening. So yeah, those are my opinions on this first half of the season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? What do you expect for the second half of the season? Obviously, if you read the comics, please don't spoil anything. I mean, some of us haven't read it, and we just want to watch the show with no spoilers, no idea of what possibly could happen. Please just leave the spoilers out of it. I get sick of that. But anyway, leave a like and subscribe for future Walking Dead reviews. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.